Super UMANs? Welcome to this week's uTVL vlog update. Incredible activity in the Super UMAN channel and Discord. It has gotten quickly out of my control in the best possible way. Really loving it. Really loving the initiatives that are just bubbling up from the grassroots interest of people, whether it's the uTVL liquidity pool that popped out of the community, the Yearn Proposal, the superpowers list that we have going on. There's just like really incredible stuff going on in there. If you're not already a Super UMAN, you're not already a member of that club, I'm afraid it's closed forever and you cannot join, except in the next 10 minutes if you jump into the Super UMAN circle and raise your hand, we'll let you in. It's not to be missed. There's incredible energy in there. Okay, so this is what we got on the calendar, on the agenda for this week's call. The first thing we got to mention, of course, is we have 211 million TVL in UMA right now. Last week was 113 million, so we are doing incredibly well. All kinds of really exciting updates and news to share as well. So like OpenDAO has already discussed wanting to do their own call options, working very similarly to the UMA call options. We also have, here's this little teaser right here. Another team, a big one, has committed to doing call options as well. The announcement will probably come out potentially just before this goes live or maybe after. So I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but it's really cool. And basically we have actually that team committing some treasury funds, which is how we want to go about this. That's great. Another really awesome one is that Aragon has announced they're going to do KPI options on UMA, and they're going to do it based on incentivizing people to migrate from V1 to V2, getting their DAOs to migrate. So it's exactly the kind of use case we'd love to see for KPI options, and will result in increasing UMA's adoption, which is of course the purpose of this whole campaign. So Super UMANs, Super UMANs, it's Uma Thurman and UMA, the company, but human. So is it human or UMAN? I'm going to go with human. Super UMANs. We have, what else do we have going on? We have the uTVL pool, MySynths.finance, speaking of call options. This is one of several UIs, but the one that I'll reference here today to participate in call options. So we should start to see this continue to grow as we see other teams come on board and do these call options. We have this XIO campaign live right now. Actually, I want to mention this particularly for Super UMANs. So the XIO and Block Zero campaign is a DeFi accelerator program, and they are bringing their own community's attention to UMA, and they're creating training materials and different incentives to get people to try UMA out and to understand how it works. But I would love for it to go both directions. So Super UMANs, you're more than invited to participate in the contest. The rewards are XIO tokens, more uTVL KPI option tokens, as well as UMA call options. So you have an opportunity to sort of add to your collection there, as well as just to understand more about UMA, about XIO, and help create resources. So some of the campaigns we're doing currently and over the next few weeks include creating educational resources and walkthroughs, coming up with ideas for synthetic assets, and then there's also like a liquidity mining program associated in the final week. XIO is also going to be interested in creating products on UMA as well. So we'll have more updates about that in the coming weeks. Something I'm super excited about is while I was sleeping, somebody wrote up a very good Yearn proposal for like a Yearn improvement proposal. And it's just amazing. Like if we can have the Super UMANs going out there into these other communities, and they're already kind of members of their communities, they understand what the other projects need and want, we can write these very well targeted proposals to basically start encouraging integration. And what's really exciting to me, guys, about this is it's not just this KPI option campaign. It's not just UMA's like individual goal, right, with increasing adoption and this integration in the DeFi space. It's also just kind of this experiment that we're running, right? Like protocol communities have become sort of like sovereigns, right? They're these different entities, and we have our relationships and we have our governances. And I think what we're doing as a Super UMAN community is experimenting. We're seeing like what happens when we work together and we reach out to these other communities. What can we accomplish? And we're kind of like, I think of us as sort of pioneering inter-protocol relations. You know, there's something interesting going on here. And I think it's something that will be talked about for months and years to come after the end of this campaign, is my dream, right? lots of very insightful 11-minute Medium articles to come out of this, I believe. What else do we have on this list? Oh, superpowers. So this is really cool. We've had a bunch of different community members step up and volunteer with different skills that they can bring. And so right now we're just kind of pooling our resources. We're finding out who has what skills and they're willing to contribute. And then as we start to develop assets or develop campaigns, we can call on specific people, say, hey, can you help us out with this or that? So that's super awesome. The superpower across the board is that everyone is just like stepping up and wants to participate. It's just super fun. What else do we got on this list? I probably should have written them in a sequential order. I think we've actually covered all of the ones here. There was one other specific thing I wanted to mention, which I can't remember right now. So we added all the superpowers to the list. Thank you, Sean KPI, as he goes by in the community, for compiling those. There was one other super important thing to mention. Oh, well, Claim is live, right? That happened this week. It's funny how these really big things can happen, and then I get sort of, yeah. So the Claim went live, right? The Claim went live this week. The interface is beautiful. Thank you to those of you on my team and elsewhere that were responsible for making a beautiful UMA UI. It's not the kind of compliment we've typically received at UMA about the quality and attractiveness of our UI. I really have not received any messages from people saying they couldn't claim their tokens, which is wonderful. So yeah, that's all been going super well. This coming week, what I really want to make sure that we focus on is something that we're already focusing on, which is basically this outreach, right? It's so we're talking about kind of going into Yearn. I know that Badger's community is very present in the Super UMAN channel, and so like I want to make sure that we are. I think that's a good focus for this week. You know, to some degree, I love that the community kind of comes up with things that we're focusing on, like just sort of organically. But I think that's going to be a cool place for us to start. Vari, who you may not know when I'm saying her name, Mharairi, is pronounced Vari with a V sound because it's a Gaelic. She has been putting together, she put together a guide for how we can reach out to other communities and how we can go about like basically writing these proposals. So take a look at that, and we'll be working together and as a team to coordinate these things. One other thing too is we have the we have kind of a Twitter showing right now, and I'm curious to ask you all how we can kind of use that best, right? Like, so we have the Super UMAN list now that's connected to the UMA protocol Twitter. So how can we use everyone's kind of Twitter support best in moving forward? Like, should we be tagging these teams once we kind of create a proposal? That could be a way, right? So imagine we have 30 different people tag Yearn's account, or maybe some of Yearn's influencers, and say, hey, take a look at this proposal. That could be one option. I think there's different ways to go about it. I want to make sure that we maintain a very high standard of like quality interaction. Like, you know, UMA is all about doing things like the legit way, not the spammy way. So I want to make sure that we maintain that, of course. But I do, you know, I think we have something cool to leverage here, and you know, we're building a real effort together, and so we don't want it to just be inside of the UMA, you know, the UMA Super UMANs channel. Of course, we want to get out into the wider space. I think that's all for me. I think if I keep going, I'm just going to start rambling even more than I have been. Thank you so much, Super UMANs, for your excellent efforts this week, and look forward to our next update in 7 days. Peace.